What's going on, everybody? If anybody is here, it's always one of those typical, I can't see if anyone's here for the first few minutes. And even if you are, you'll pop up in a few seconds. Sorry for my dryer going off in the background. But there's not a lot of Star Wars news to talk about, unfortunately. So I decided, hey, let's just do a random ass live stream on a Tuesday. And tomorrow is also the Phantom Menace 22nd birthday and the anniversary of its release. And you know me, I always mention the fact that I was unfortunately born a day before the Phantom Menace. So today is also that day. So your boy turned 22. I'm getting closer towards death than I like to be. But that's what I wanted for. What a fucking name. Not StarWarsOnly. This is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted memes to take hold, inside jokes, if you will. Miss Only is also with us. Miss Only, how are you doing on this fine day?
I'm well. That's it. I'm here. What's up?
You're here.
Hey, everyone. Happy to be here. Happy birthday, Mr. Only.
Thank you very much, Miss
Has
Only.
it been good so far?
Yeah, it's been really great. It's been a good birthday. Miss Only got me a very nice gi for my birthday, and I'm going to be wearing it probably in the next 5 hours because I'm excited to use that. And I got a really cool pocket watch that I cannot describe, but I've always wanted a pocket watch. And it's got like a metal, it had a metal design to it and like a dragon on the front. I thought it was really cool. Reminded me of Skyrim a little bit. All right. So
they all wanted to know what I got you. But I got
it was the gi. Oh, and also
yeah.
she's making my birthday cake because I don't want to eat like shit this year because I do it every year. Is cookies. She's making the best cookies I've ever had in my life. You guys have no idea.
You really think they're that good?
Yes, I think they're amazing. I think
the secret is to brown the butter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And they're always soft and they got a little bit of salt to it. That's also really good. Since you're a big karate guy, do you watch Cobra Kai? Yeah, we watched it. We watched every single episode up to date. What are they on, season 3, or are they coming out with season 3?
I think it's about to be season 3, right?
Maybe. I think so. I think maybe
so.
It might be season 3, season 4. I don't know. It's really good though. It's one of those things where it's like it's corny enough to feel like a Nickelodeon show, but it's also like they cuss, you know? And
it's strange. It's like a grown-up version of the Nickelodeon show.
Yeah. It's like I'm comfortable with my high schooler watching this. I wouldn't be comfortable with like my 11 or 10-year-old. But even then, you might be like, it's not that big of a deal.
I don't know.
So it's a very good show. And as someone who did karate for, almost 10 years, that is very much so a lot of the guys I knew in the karate world down in Texas. Supreme Leader Dracovish asked a very good question. When did you and Miss Only meet each other for the first time? I'm actually not good with storytelling. Do you want to tell the story?
Okay. Well, basically, he and I met at Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, that's it. We just met at Galaxy's Edge. He asked me out. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I guess without going into too much detail as to like all the the whole circumstance. But
it was right before COVID happened, so it was kind of like we met each other. We got along really well. We hung out a couple times and realized this is going very well. And then COVID hit. Your boy had to go back to Texas, and it sucked. Dude, I drove from Florida to Texas 7 times. What a time! What
7 times.
And I didn't even do it for Star Wars.
He came once and then visited 3 times in a few months, and then came the next time he came after that he stayed.
Yeah, so. we talked about a lot of stuff. We got close over the phone, and then I think. It's funny because I was thinking of Star Wars when we made things official. She was kind of like, since we were long distance at the time, I was like, man, should we make it official out like this? Because I feel like things would be better if, like, as a gentleman, it'd be nicer to ask in person, like, hey, would you want to make things official, be my girlfriend, instead of what I had, which was a long distance because of COVID. And so I remember, I think like the first week of May, it was like, okay, like. But we're definitely serious. Want to take that? I was like, I don't want to do it on May 4th because I don't want our anniversary to be on May 4th because not only would I really want to work on Star Wars stuff, there'd be a lot of Star Wars announcements and everything.
Yeah, you gotta center it all around.
I got to center the entire. The channel comes first. People.
The universe actually does rotate directly around this microphone.
And so the day after was May the 5th, or Revenge of the 5th, whatever we call it. And I was like, okay, I guess it's not a Star Wars day, so I'll ask her, and that's our anniversary date. Yeah. So we had our 1-year anniversary on this May 5th, and I still partly think like, oh man, I should have asked her way before or a week after to keep the date tight. It was like we got to keep that date tight, all for Star Wars, because now next year in May we're having to go to Celebration, as opposed to what was it, August? I think it was the original dates.
I'm really excited. It's going to be really great. I'm also going to Star Wars Celebration. It will be my first one, assuming I can get a ticket. But
we can even talk about that. Yeah, we got some questions.
You missed a whole bunch.
Some of these aren't like.
All right, you stopped there. You're going to.
Okay, but we got.
Oh my gosh, you're the worst.
Pick a comment. You got to take a mouse.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Thank you for all the happy birthdays.
I like how you're going right back to where I was now. Look, that George one.
Oh, this was that George one. That was anticlimactic. I'm sorry. There's more to the story, but I can't for privacy reasons, I guess.
Yeah,
can't really go that far into it.
Honestly, I have my bad.
It's a really cute. We actually have a super cute story, but I can't.
No. The reason is because it was inside Disney, and you guys know how they are about the copyright law. So they were like, "Hey, your love story is
copyrighted by us,
legally ours. You're not allowed to tell it outside of the company." Or something. How expensive is it in total for Star Wars Celebration? I would want to visit in this decade, but I'm from Europe.
Oh boy!
So I'll be honest. As someone who's only really flown, I've never flown out of the country per se. I've been to like the Caribbean and not the West Indies, but I've been
to Europe.
Flights to Europe and flights, I guess, from Europe to America are likely, very expensive. So that plane flight alone, is already a lot. When it comes to actually coming to Celebration, the big expenses are your hotel and the actual tickets to Celebration. So I think like for a 4-day pass, it was like maybe $400, maybe $250. I know that's a completely fucking a big gap. Let me see if I can actually find it real quick. Star Wars Celebration 2022 tickets. Can't believe it's next year. They announced us in 2019. That's what was crazy is like, it was really, really soon.
I'm really excited. I hear about how it goes and like all the stuff they have going on there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. If I see Ewan McGregor though, I actually may pass out. No, I'm kidding. I won't pass out. I don't really get. In my work, I come across like a lot of famous people, and I get used to it because they're just people. But there's a couple that I would.
Ticketmaster is saying that like the cost of Celebration, the tickets is like $2,000 on average. That is way off. Do not buy from a third party. All right. So basically, what's going to happen is they're going to go on sale probably. I don't know when specifically this year, but probably going to have something for fans just to buy if they haven't been able to buy it yet. And then there's something called a light exchange. It's the official third party ticket exchanged for Star Wars Celebration. Because if you do what I did in 2019 and you buy from StubHub, you won't get the email that you need for like the lottery stuff to get into certain panels, and you're going to miss out on a big part of the experience. So if you're going to buy a ticket to Star Wars Celebration, I'll try to post stuff about it to keep you guys updated. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, of course, and we'll likely have information about it, because if you want to go, it's important to budget for it and have a good time, man. I think everyone should go. It's a really fun time. Yo, Star Wars Only, do you collect the Black Series figures? No, I do not. I do not have the money for that. The investments people put into that are crazy. My friend Clint, who runs Star Wars Daily on Instagram, he's a really great account. He's probably the biggest account on Instagram, who's a fan ran, and he's a big collector. And I've seen his room, and he's like, if I sold all of my stuff, it'd probably be like $40,000 to $50,000.
I've seen those. They're really nice. Yeah. I actually like really wanted
the Revan one. Looks really good. There's a lot of them that I would want to buy, but they're expensive, and not only that, they're not by themselves, they're not expensive. They're like $15 to $20 sometimes. It's just collecting them over time.
They're hard to find.
Yeah,
I've heard.
Well, not only that, like I follow some friends who
they're sold, like once they're sold out, it's really hard.
Yeah, and people upsell them for a lot.
Yeah.
But then I've had a friend who he runs like a YouTube channel for that, and a couple other guys who do Instagram pages for him, and they talk about how like they'll order from Target and it'll be like a Hasbro toy for Star Wars or a collector's item, and a lot of the time like the order gets canceled or just lost.
It's sold out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the upcoming Disney changes? Right now, it's just a rumor, but I'm pretty sure it's true. If you could clarify what changes you're talking about, I could give my thoughts on it. But I don't know. I've only thing I've heard is that Bob Iger is giving more leeway to the studio heads like Kathleen Kennedy, Kevin Feige, people over there at Fox and everything. He's going to focus on park stuff. He's going to let the creative soak into the creative stuff. That gives me a little bit more confidence in someone like him, because I know damn well Bob Iger was not like that. Comment Star, thank you very much for the super chat and happy birthday wishes. It means a lot. Yeah, $400 a night. This, I would say this sounds about right, but this is not what I would think the tickets.
I mean, I was gonna say that the flight for sure, $400 a night is a little steep. I think that you could.
It's Anaheim though.
Yeah, but I think if you're staying in a hotel, maybe $400 a night. But like you could do an Airbnb, and if you booked it really far in advance, there are a lot of really good Airbnbs that are not even close to that. So if you're trying to go on a budget, that's the way to go. You gotta be safe though.
Yeah, the Star Wars Celebration hype. I'm lit for it. Star Wars Meg, thank you for the happy birthday. I just found out this past week. I've seen her name a couple times. I looked at her channel and I was like really shocked by how well it was ran. Like she's got great thumbnails, great editing, and all that stuff. And I like replied to a comment she had, and I was like, wow, like I really like am impressed with your work. And she said she'd been watching the channel since 2018, and I was like, this is what that feels like. Someone telling you like, hey, I've been watching your stuff for a while, and like seeing like her surpass me in subscriber count and like have better content. It's like, okay, good. This is how I feel the community should evolve. But big shout out to Star Wars Meg. If you guys haven't subscribed to her, please do. I really do enjoy her content. And Leia's Lair, you remember that girl? I showed you her, like her logo, the L and the L.
I thought that was really cool. Yeah, like with the buns.
It seems like female content creators in Star Wars
creative.
We have a rise, and TikTok's becoming another one too. Darth Chaco is one. Top Star Wars couple. That's a big one. Oh, look, is it Annie? Is it Annie and Padme?
Oh, for me.
Padme, really? Oh my god!
Oh, it's totally. That's a cut. Are you serious?
What are you? Am I serious? Are you serious? Are you serious?
What,
are you?
He
killed her. He killed her. I'm not gonna say Luke and Leia. What am I? This isn't Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh! No.
How are you gonna say?
Well, then all that leaves then is Han and Leia.
What do you mean that all that leaves is Han?
And
there's so many other couples. There's Rey and Kylo Ren.
I like people into that. No, that's not okay. That's not okay. Are you seriously? Are you saying you'd be happier if I said Reylo?
No, I definitely not.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Saying Padme, Anakin. You could have gone for Ahsoka and Homeboy.
What? What the heck? They're like kids. Like, what? They don't. That's not a relationship.
Okay.
Dude, no.
I'm trying to think some other Star Wars couples.
Period. You cannot change my mind. I'm sorry. If you think
I got
otherwise,
you. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say, with all due respect, Miss Only, with all due respect, I would agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Frog Lady and her husband, Mandalorian season 2.
Cute. Okay.
Don't.
Cute.
Cute. That's love.
Very cute.
That is.
I don't consider that a Star Wars couple.
That is.
It's just a couple in the Star Wars universe.
No.
All right. I mean, good answer. That's fine. That's fine.
No. Obi-Wan Satine. That's
she's dead.
No. Oh, so is Padme. What are you talking about? At least Satine.
So is Anakin.
Satine died like a bad bitch. Satine died like a bad. She went out peaceful for her.
You know why?
She died of a broken heart.
She
died of a broken heart.
No.
She literally.
Darth Maul killed her.
No. Who? Darth Maul killed who?
Satine.
Oh yeah, Satine. But I'm talking about Padme. Padme died of a broken heart.
No, she died of labor.
No, he literally said, "Oh, she lost the will to live."
Well,
that is corny.
I hear what you say. I choose.
When I think of strong females, I don't think of Padme. Well, actually, I do at times. But
so what? I'm not. I don't. You didn't ask me who the strongest female is. You asked me who my favorite Star Wars couple is. All right.
I'm just trying
Obi-Wan did not choose Satine, so that for me is a turn off. I'm like, they're not as cute as some of the others. Luke and Han. No, not Luke and Han. Leia and Han. That'd be some couple, right? Yeah, them I liked in the original, but then the sequels, I don't like their relationship. I just feel like it's not like they're really. It feels like they don't like each other anymore. Like I get that like they're an old married couple, but it's kind of like I was like, oh, that's really sad. Like it seems like they don't like each other anymore.
You're talking about Han and Leia in the sequels?
Yeah.
They didn't do it. It went from our heroes ended up happily ever after to oh shit, they're really bad people and bad parents and their marriage didn't work out. Good to know.
No. Anakin and Padme have a very good love story. I think it's cute. And while it lasts,
none like freeing your mom from slave. Oh wait,
oh no!
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna free the slaves, and then he fucking never comes back. Anywho, let's on to this.
Okay, question,
so Max, he was clarifying on his earlier point. I mean, the changes that Bob Chapek made, for example, that the creatives behind projects now have to go directly to Disney and not anymore just to Lucasfilm if they do a Star Wars movie, for example. Okay. I feel like earlier you said this was like a rumor, so I'm gonna say this probably wasn't in the Variety article that they came out with. The article came out this past week or so. If this is just a rumor from whoever, I have no clue. This doesn't. It's one of those things where it sounds like it would be a legitimate standard in the industry because normally what happens is. Let's use Josh Trank, for example. When he was pitching the Boba Fett movie, he talked to Kiri Hart of Lucasfilm, and he pitched it to her, Kathleen Kennedy, and then one of the guys who was the executive producer of Fox, the Fox Fantastic Four movie, and Star Wars Resistance and Rebels, and I think the recent season of the Clone Wars or Bad Batch, something like that. I think it was mostly Resistance and Rebels. So the point I'm trying to make here is when you're pitching a movie idea to Lucasfilm for Star Wars, they basically don't go to Disney and say, hey, we want to make a movie on Boba Fett. They just go to Disney and say, okay, hey, when do you need a movie by? When do you want, like, what is the quota for how much content you want in a given year? I really don't think Disney's controlling everything like that. I'm sure there's going to come to a point where any typical producer is going to be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't make a movie about Jar Jar Binks. But in general, so wrong.
Yeah, you're fine.
But no, I don't buy into this whole, like, Taika Waititi's now got to go to Bob Chapek and be like, hey, can I make my movie? No, and pitch him ideas. Bob Chapek and other people at Disney probably don't really care that much.
These are
Star Wars. Santa is with me.
Okay, I can take that. I mean, they are a Star Wars couple.
Santa is a saint of a man. That is the man who should lead the Star Wars fandom going forward.
I can't disagree with Santa.
You can. Cara Dune and Drunk 3PO. Woo!
Oh, because she was on his show, right?
Shout out to Jay. Yeah, it was cool. She came on his channel for like a stream or something. And then I think he went to Vegas and like had dinner with her, which is also really cool.
Crazy.
So big shout out to Drunk 3PO. Great guy.
Goldman and Claude.
Goldman and Claude. That is a great couple. That's probably, I think that's the most shocking couple. I mean, when you talk about quality love, you want a relationship like that.
Stephanie makes a good point about Obi-Wan and Satine. So she says that Obi-Wan and Satine are great because they're dedicating their lives to something greater. It's tragic. That's what makes it great. No, I agree that they're both good people. I like them as characters. But since they are dedicating themselves to their own respective things, they don't choose each other, and I mean that's really sad. And it doesn't make them like bad characters, but it doesn't make them a couple.
Some would say they committed like you had three options, which was you commit to each other, you commit to your jobs, or you go halfway. I would say that Satine and Obi-Wan committed to their careers, their jobs. Anakin and Padme didn't want to commit to each other or their jobs. They met halfway. They met halfway.
Like they did both.
I don't think they accomplished both.
Obviously he turns evil.
They brought down the entire Republic.
Oh, okay, all right, let's just move on.
I'm just saying that relationship destroyed the universe.
If you want us to be a Star Wars couple, we need to move on from this.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't like the Annie and Padme.
Divorce is imminent.
Divorce is but we get married. You can't serve me with papers. So you have to have someone in the Star Wars fandom serve paper. Best couple, me and your mom.
All right,
That's probably the best
end
one.
The stream. We gotta end the stream.
Have you read the new Thrawn book, Greater Good? I think it's called. Yes, I do have the review up for that on my channel. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead and do it. I think I gave it a really good rating. It's my favorite canon Thrawn book at the moment.
Oh, by the way, go like the stream if you haven't yet, because right now we only have, it says for me we have 26 likes and we have 41 people.
I need 14 more likes, people.
Go like it.
George Lucas lets me out of this basement only when we hit 14 more likes. Big shout out to Justin Ace. Great name. Been around for 2 years and wanted to say I loved your content since. Glad I've stuck around and wanted to say happy birthday. Plus, see you at Star Wars Celebration if you go.
Aww.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm at Star Wars Celebration and you are there as well, DM me, hit me up on Twitter. I'm definitely not one of these people who don't reply to. I definitely don't reply to all DMs or messages you guys send me, but I do see a lot of them, and so some of them are quite funny. And you can message me like, "Hey, Star Wars only. I don't know what the fuck your problem is," or you can go fuck yourself, or you're an idiot. I'm likely going to reply back. It's all in good banter, in my opinion. But thank you for the super chat. It means a lot.
Thanks,
thank you
Justin.
for the compliments, and hopefully we do see you at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Like I said, just hit me up, and I will gladly meet you. I met a lot of people at Celebration last time, and I'm really excited for this next one. I think it's going to be great. Star Wars Santa says it's at 53 likes for me right now. So, well, it looks like
George is letting you out of the basement.
He's like, all right, you can get out now. Oh, I wonder if how it would require to get George Lucas in an interview for any Star Wars channel. But do you think he would do one of those you need to get 20,000 likes on a Instagram post or something like that to get me an interview? I feel like you could accomplish that really easily, but I wonder if he's a limit. If he tells a page with 10 followers, you got to get 1 million likes. That might be harder to do.
Yeah, that's tough.
But tomorrow, if you guys don't know, is the 22nd anniversary of the Phantom Menace, which means it is the 2nd year anniversary of the Phantom Menace 20 years later by Star Wars Only, written and directed, starring.
Yeah.
You know how people do that? They're like, here is my YouTube video, written, directed, edited, co-writer, author. And it's we get it. Face reveal? No, unfortunately not.
Just no. Wow.
Unfortunately not.
I can describe. Generally, so picture a white guy.
White.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Picture, you know how Ben Affleck plays every guy ever. You know, how he kind of look at him and you're like, oh, there's that guy on the street and he's got a beard like Ben Affleck and kind of the same hairstyle. It's not a high end type, but it's just kind of a little short on the sides, but he's got a little comb over in the front.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's every white guy ever. How do you not know what I'm talking about?
All right, listen. Okay, who's that guy? Is another YouTuber or an actor that I saw and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys look just alike. Who is it? I can't remember their name.
Actor?
Or it might have been another YouTuber.
I have no earthly idea. A lot of people in high school said I looked like Paul Walker.
No, Paul Walker? I can kind of see Paul Walker, but I don't know.
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, all right, no problem. I don't know. I thought we found somebody that was like, wow, you guys look so alike, but no.
Ewan McGregor?
No. I kind of see that too a little bit. In the beard, I think when he has the beard as Obi-Wan, I see it. Yeah. Yeah,
if I grow it out, I got to style it more like Ewan. Have you guys been seeing Ewan's beard lately? He's been growing that thing out for the Kenobi series. Yeah. It's everyone in the fandom's like,
I'm fully Ewan McGregor simp. But he didn't win me over with Star Wars. He won me over with Moulin Rouge.
Oh,
that man can sing.
He can sing
like an angel. I'm sorry, he's the whole package.
He is. Star Wars Only is George Lucas. Yeah, I feel like I would be. I feel like I would be bad enough at directing and maybe not that great of a writer, but still committed to writing. But the few things I'm good at, possibly editing or just being a good producer, is my one and only. That's the only thing that I'm like, okay, I can do this. I couldn't be as revolutionary as George though. That man has done it all. Big shout out to Stephanie. Love to see you at Celebration, but I'm probably going to Prince Celebration instead. So here's Super Chat and Chad. Happy birthday. Thank you very much for the Super Chat, Stephanie. You are a very loyal supporter of Star Wars Only.
Thanks, Stephanie.
What is Prince Celebration?
Is it because the first thing that I imagined was a convention for Prince, like
the artist.
Yeah, like the
Purple
music
Rain.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge fan base for him. Rest in peace.
I cried when the dude died. I listened to him
Really?
growing up. Oh yeah, I remember in high school. I was like, "Yo, Prince died."
I lived like 10 minutes away from his house in Minnesota. So whenever he died, we drove down there like multiple times, and it was always crowded with people. But I wasn't familiar with his music at the time.
You weren't familiar with his music.
I wasn't. No.
Yeah, little did you know. Little Red Corvette. I will hear such atrocities in these halls, even though we're in a room. Let's see. Happy birthday. Are you doing anything for the Acolyte? Are you hoping to hear anything from the Acolyte? Probably not anytime soon, man. It's going to be a minute. Some of these were good.
Why did I think Star Wars Only was biracial?
Oh, no.
You're not the first person to say that. Like,
a lot of people think I'm black.
If your voice, I can kind of hear it. You have a really deep voice. That's all it is, I think.
I guess.
Maybe. I mean, not sure. Nah, dude's.
I think it's because I'm Southern, and I definitely went to a school that did not promote great education, so I pronounce words probably not. I pronounce words probably not in the best way. Like my Phantom Menace documentary, for some dumbass reason, I said interpreted instead of interpreted or interpret. And then
wait, scroll down right now. I have a bone to pick. I knew Miss Only was a Midwesterner. That atrocious accent. Excuse me, I am not a Mr. I am Southern. I am from Nashville, Tennessee. I lived there till I was 15.
You're the only 10 I see.
Thank you. Yeah, I've never heard that one before. I lived in Minnesota for like 5 years. Yeah, I think the accent is atrocious. How dare you even say I have that? I'm actually upset. That's terrible.
She took that personally.
Well, I hated living there so much. I really don't like the people. I don't like the weather. I don't like the accent. But
yeah, I can't sometimes stand Texas accents.
Do you think I have a Minnesota accent?
I don't.
Because
I don't know shit. I don't know
building
shit about Minnesota accents.
If I picked that up. Oh my. All right.
All right. Anyways.
Need to address that. That needed to be. No.
We're not going to reply.
No.
This is not going to continue.
No. Take it out.
Someone put him in timeout.
Oh my god.
General Potato too.
Boo. Sounds like a bit. Where are you from then, huh?
Shush it, Miss Only.
Probably Florida.
Oh man.
All the assholes are down here. That's why I fit in.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're the pot to the kettles.
Yeah.
One of my favorite YouTube videos is your Fans versus Disney video. You did such a good job with it. I hate that video because I have the same freaking piano music playing in the background. But I do think a sequel will be coming in probably the next year. Maybe at the end of next year. That's something I would want to interview fans for. And maybe actually I could do it like next summer. Because in May, I could interview fans. Sorry, I'm just kind of free thinking at this point. That would be really cool because but this time it wouldn't be called the Fans versus Disney. It would be called the Fans versus Lucasfilm. And that probably wouldn't give me a great reputation with certain people, but it's okay. That's just, it's like the last one. It's meant to be objective. It's meant to be factual based and just kind of tell the story of what happened between 2012 and 2022 and that 10 years of Lucasfilm. Being different under the new Disney banter and what's been good, what's been bad. So hopefully I'll start working on that. But I have another big project I'm working on right now and don't know when that's coming out.
I'm going to spill. Ready?
No, please don't.
You guys are not ready for it though, for real.
No one is ready.
It's actually crazy. It's the tea.
Yeah,
it's heating up. It's heating up.
George Lucas got in a bar fight.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the headline? Like, old man.
First of all, George, what are you doing at a bar?
Yeah.
Second of all, what was the fight about? Like, I know anything about film, I'll kill you when you're killed.
Oh my.
What'd you say about the prequels, bitch?
Old man arrested for assault.
Would you ever consider rewriting the whole Star Wars trilogy or even the sequels? I think he means the whole saga or even the sequels. No, I feel like even it's one of those things like if someone who doesn't like the prequel trilogy looks at that and goes, we should rewrite it. It's like, okay, there's an argument to, if you want to say rewriting it makes it better for any movie, we could even do that with the original trilogy. But there's so many things we have built with stories that have just completely changed Star Wars. Like the Clone Wars, for example. We got an entire series off of just what we heard from the movies, just between that timelines between episode 2 and 3. So I'll just think of top of my brain, like Mr. Plinkett in those reviews, they talk about having the Clone Wars be like clones invade the Jedi and the Jedi got to fight back. And that's That's what the clone's purpose is. I'm saying that if I don't care if you think it's a good idea or bad, it sounds like a bad idea to me. But if you actually do that, we would have to change the Clone Wars, where we don't have clones that work with the Jedi anymore. The clones are attacking the Jedi now, and that's the goal from the start. If you rewrite it like that, we have to change everything about Star Wars, and that's where it gets really complicated. The sequels, you may have a little bit more leeway, but now with The Mandalorian already kind of tying into the sequels, it's like, well, you definitely can't retcon them now. It's just a very weird situation. CC8 says, don't tell me your Fans vs. Disney sequel will have Gina Carano stuff in it. Oh, that would make the next video more controversial. Either way, I'm excited for the Fans vs. Disney sequel. Thank you. It likely probably is going to cover that. I hate to be that guy, but yeah,
that's really important.
It's a big part. It would be a big part. People were really upset with that. I hate this question, but it's a fair one. Attack of the Clones 20 years later. No, I would not be doing that. The Phantom Menace was unique because it was a very unique time. It was the end of a century because we're going into the 21st century. And it was also the beginning of the prequels. It was the beginning of a new era in Star Wars. And it was really beginning, I guess you can, there's no historians of Star Wars, but some historians say it could be the beginning of the end for Star Wars. That's when Star Wars was like, this isn't what we all remember it to be anymore. So the Attack of the Clones movie, while it is an interesting story, I don't think it's aged as well as the Phantom Menace has. And I don't think it really tells a great story that I need to make for a documentary. My bad. Revenge of the Sith 20 years later, I've already said will probably come in like, that would be 2025, I think, because that came out in 2005. But also that one might not be one only specifically about Revenge of the Sith. That documentary would probably be about the entire prequel trilogy as a whole, just because that would be the conclusion of it. But a large focus would be on that movie specifically because it is it's the reason I think the prequels are so well renowned at this point. That's your favorite one, right, Miss Only?
I mean, one of them. Yeah. Episode 3 is the best.
Yeah, freaking. I won't comment. I'm playing. Force Awakens 20 years later. Oh man, when would that be? It came out in 2015. So 2035.
Wow.
God.
How old? We'll be in our mid to late 30s, so like 35, 36.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you. That makes me uncomfortable to even think about.
That'd be funny. When do you think we will get the official announcement about the J.D. Dillard Star Wars movie? Yeah, that's one that like people who are even in the know haven't ever talked about, like people with so-called inside sources and whatnot. This came out from Hollywood Reporter. It was never confirmed. It's never gotten more information. We've been hearing some things about like animated films. He could technically direct something like that. I don't think he will. But we've also heard some stuff about there being maybe another movie or two that Lucasfilm is working on that we don't know about, and that could be a Disney Plus release. That is what they mentioned in the article from the Hollywood Reporter, that the J.D. Dillard movie could be a Star Wars movie that goes direct to Disney Plus. And with COVID just happening in the straight to streaming services movies or something like that, that could be a possibility. We could have, I could realistically see him doing like a solo sequel story, not a movie, but it would be a movie, but not solo Star Wars story too. It would be something maybe related to Kira and Darth Maul, because that story is going forward. We just don't know how or when. How would you feel about a Star Wars movie casted entirely with Minnesotians?
Hey, Minnesotians. First of all, that's not it. It's Minnesotans.
I thought there was an I.
No. And then, wouldn't that be Minnesotans?
Minnesotans?
That's a terrible word.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I just told you about my bad public history.
No.
Public education.
No. Listen, I don't care. It's just the accent is not for me. The Midwestern accent gets on my nerves.
What does that even say? I don't know anything about
it's
Midwestern
like
accent.
They say, I don't know, certain phrases like I'm not gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna do it. No, just look it up, Google it, whatever. Yeah. It's not pleasant.
Do a Force Awakens 10 years later video. I can't just keep doing them by years. I mean, that'd be funny. I could always do fun ones like the people versus Kathleen Kennedy, the people versus George Lucas 2. No, I wouldn't do that. That's been tired. They were talking about doing that, and I don't know what happened to it. I would love to actually reach out to that director. I will do that. The whole Palpatine Exegol situation is really messy right now. In the comic books, Vader is going there. I haven't caught up with that.
For real? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's neat. I should read the comics. I think I'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, I want to read the High Republic ones. Those seem to have been received semi-okay so far. Will you do any other documentaries? Yeah. I'm not working on one now, but I've always said I want kind of like a better production value. I want to learn more about filmmaking. I want to be able to actually go like sit people down and interview them.
No,
like,
what you want is a room that looks like you could shoot NBC News from there, and to do Star Wars stuff.
I mean, that would be cool too.
You really want to take over the news center for like the Today Show, say, and take that.
I mean, that would look really cool. I'm really into big production value like that. But also,
right.
But also, I would love to have a what do they have in the stagecraft? If I had a room that was stagecraft technology, so I could do my documentaries through there, I would just bring people in to interview. I mean, I feel like even George Lucas would be like, I don't really care about the $10,000 donation to the Kids Foundation. You said this is in a stagecraft room? Is this an ILM? No? Oh, where the fuck is this guy at? Like, I'd have just trip him out, and he's like, oh, this is a very lovely room. Oh, yeah, this is a stagecraft room, George. Oh, shit.
All right, let's find the next comment. Random question: have you ever met people? Yes, I have heard a Boston accent. Yes. That one's really not pleasant either. Oh, Mr. and Miss Only, what would you say to a Star Wars nature show inspired by David Attenborough documentaries? Heck yes. That sounds so fun. I would watch all of that. Star Wars Biomes was like kind of disappointing. It's literally just panning over stuff.
What, dude?
That's cool.
So,
it's like a screensaver for your
relaxing.
TV. I just, they could have, I don't know, like something like this would be like 10 times better.
Mm-hmm.
They're like looking at tauntauns, like, watch as the creature moves across.
Blimey.
Like, yeah, I don't know. That would be so fun.
Now we're going to see a Rancor eat a tauntaun. Okay. Star Wars Santa, LL, Mr. Only being uncomfortable about thinking being mid-30s. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like... No,
don't. It's not that. As far as I know and that I've heard, being in your 30s is a great time of life. It's just that I'm so far away for that. Thinking about that is kind of strange. I don't know. I can only think of myself as like a kid, basically, right now. A young adult.
I'm scared about hitting my 30s just because I don't want to lose my hair. But I mean, that's I'm really going to take on the Walter White persona. It's either him or George Lucas.
Mr.
So if I keep the hair, I become George Lucas. If I don't keep the hair, I become Walter White. I want the option to keep the hair, though. That's the thing. What's your advice on how to grow on YouTube?
So glad you finally asked. I happen to be an expert on.
Oh, really? Enlighten us.
I haven't I have no subscribers because I have no channel. But go on. How do you grow on YouTube, Mr. Only?
Have fun doing it. Don't do it for money. That's a big one. Don't expect to make a lot of money because I guarantee you don't, unless you're extremely big. Work on being unique. Work on really capturing people's attention. Thumbnails, titles of YouTube videos. Do stuff that you take pride in. And stand outside the box. That's something I think people don't try to do anymore. A lot of even new Star Wars content creators, some are just copying everything we've already seen before. Be original. I like people who can say things that have substance to them. And I think in the era of the internet that we have and YouTube, it's very interesting to see how we can connect with each other, even through just a simple content creator that we all like. So in a sense, you want to be that. And even the name, Star Wars Tonight, it's a good name. It's unique. It's original. So keep doing that. Let's see. Is the most underrated Star Wars... Oh, I think he's talking about me. Thank you. I feel like you should get more recognition. I feel like I have plenty of recognition. I feel like I don't apply myself that much anymore to this, but... I'm working on it.
That's not true. I see you work really hard.
Well, I'm getting more set up. There's not a lot of Star Wars content right now.
Yeah.
Well, still, I might like, honestly, Star Wars Meg, the reason she's likely surpassed me in subscribers and probably will hit like higher numbers like as time goes on is because she has really good thumbnails, very good editing. My thumbnail editor, he's a really good guy. But right now, like for me, I can't make thumbnails that great, and I can't do a lot of great editing with the equipment I have right now. So I'm working into it. CC8 says, have you read the Revenge of the Sith novel? No, I have not. I've heard it's very good, though. There's that Twitter account who literally posts a quote from it every single day. It's pretty funny.
Cool.
And no, I've never seen Mystery Science Theater.
3000. Nope, me neither. Sorry. I've never heard of that.
No way George Lucas can't practice martial arts in.
Depends. It's like adult diapers kind of.
Oh no.
Yeah.
George
Sometimes-
wasn't a very athletic person, but he is. He's I know he's diabetic, but he does work out, like, for sure. But he's always he jokes about it, like, oh, it doesn't do anything or anything. No. If the rumors that Daisy Ridley is coming back are true, do you think the project would be about Rey training a new Jedi Order? Miss Only, I'll give this one to you first. What do you think? What do you want Rey to do if she comes back?
Honestly, after seeing the Lego Christmas special, I actually was interested in her, like, training Finn and learning how to be a teacher. I think that's really neat. So, I mean, that's really simple. I think a simple approach to, what are they doing after the sequel trilogy? But I think I'd be interested because we never really got to see that from Luke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, since we don't get to see that from Luke and his Jedi Order, I don't know. I think it would be different for sure because he taught at, like, a Jedi temple and out of the text. But since that's gone, some of it is gone anyways. I don't know how that would go for her.
My big thing would just hope that she goes a different route than Luke, because it seemed like Luke was hunting Jedi artifacts. He was hunting Sith stuff. And it's kind of like, I want to see that, but it's like I want her to do that so I can see it as well. But then that would just be retreading that story. And then if she teaches a new Jedi Order, it's like, okay, it's literally the same thing that we did after the original trilogy. It's annoying, but it almost feels like that's the only way for the story to go. And I'm concerned on where that story will go. Because I want like I want Reylo fans, of course, to be happy with it. People who like the sequel trilogy, but with a character like her, I feel like she needs to be redeemed, and we need to see her come back and do a story that's, like, right by her.
All right, guys. Mr. Only is going to continue the stream, but unfortunately, this is where I leave.
Why are you leaving? You're just taking the dog out.
No, but yeah, I mean, she has to go. Poor thing has been sitting at the door staring at us for like 8 minutes.
Well, you can come back when you're.
Fine, I will come back.
I mean,
maybe.
if you don't want to,
I'll think about it.
If you don't,
I'll
think about it.
I'll think
I'm
about
gonna
it.
let you guys know when she walks in the room, and so I can be like, "Hey, Miss Only," and put her on the spot. No. So y'all know if she doesn't come back, it's on her. Yeah, she's taking our dog Leia out because our cute pug needs to go. Star Wars Only. How would you react if Mr. Beast donated $50,000 to your stream? I wouldn't say I'd cry because that's probably the most money that is the most money I'd probably ever see in my life. But I'd be extremely grateful. If I could message him and be like, you changed my life, man. I would. And buy Miss Only a ring. Now that she's out of the room, I can say that. Buy her a ring. Be like, hey, hold on. But where would I get it, though? That's the thing. Rings are expensive. That Star Wars Girl channel is using all the internet caps locks. Yeah, I've seen people do that. That's not a bad route to get views and to get, like, clickbait stuff. The only problem with that is not Instagram. YouTube can kind of come at you for that a little bit. They don't really like that. They'll send you a warning after a while. Do you think if there were survivors of Luke's Jedi Order who later joined Rey's Jedi Order? Now, see, that would be a really cool route to go, actually. Because if she was getting the order started with people who have trained with Luke already, and maybe they were in hiding as well, or maybe they are, I don't know, like maybe they were trapped or something. We don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened with the Rise of Kylo Ren comics. I can't remember if he killed them or if those Jedi got away, but I think one or two of them may have died. But if some of those Jedi, maybe even someone like Grogu, teamed up with Rey in a future story and was like, hey, I can help you with this. Maybe they're a little bit more advanced than her, or maybe they're like, hey, you're actually a little bit more advanced than us. But that would be cool because we would learn about their stories with Luke, and that would be different characters to kind of help Rey. And just the idea of starting from scratch is kind of annoying because it's exactly what Luke did. If you start with a little bit of a foundation of, well, we have an apprentice already, we'll call him Finn, and that broom boy could come in, which probably wouldn't happen because that wasn't the point of that scene, but still, he could come in and do that. I wouldn't be so opposed against the Jedi Order continuing on like that. And if they were like, hey, we're going to really do this, but we're going to do it right, and what does that mean? I don't know, but whatever she does, I guess it's going to be better than Luke. Charlie Spurs says, how old are you now? 22. Yes, I turned 22 today. Thank you very much for the super chat, though, Charlie. I really appreciate it. I'm 22 years young. You know what's cool is hopefully in like, I'm 22, so maybe in 80 years, if I live to be 102, I can be like one of the last people born in the 20th century. I can fake it. I can be like, oh yeah, I was born in the year 1999. People are like, dude, you were born in the 1900s? What the fuck? I've never met anybody who was born in that year. That would be cool. I'd have to live for a very long time, and I'd have to be extremely healthy, and I'd have to want to live. I think after a certain time, I'd probably be like, oh Jesus Christ, I'm tired of Star Wars. When Star Wars hits 100, I'll be in my 70s. Wait. No, Star Wars will hit 100 years old. Came out in 1977, so it would be 2077. That's in fucking what, like 54 years, or 55, 56. I'm fucking stupid. I'm awful at math because I'm fucking retarded. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I think I'd be in my 70s, and if I get to say like, oh wow, here's Star Wars at 100 years old, I'd almost cry, because I'm not going to remember anybody who remembered seeing. Well, I'm going to remember people who remember seeing Star Wars in theaters, but no one will remember that experience anymore. And so I won't have anybody to talk to. Like all the original trilogy purists, like they won't even be dead, but like their children and maybe even their grandchildren at this point are just going to be completely like, dude, the original trilogy sucks. Oh, there we go. Don't buy a ring, buy a lightsaber for her. Okay. Steal the Lucas outlines and force fans to pay $50,000 to see them. I would get sued out the ass, but I would love to. Oh, that'd be funny. Who do you think made a bigger impact on the movie industry, Lucas or Spielberg, without being biased? That is a fucking excellent question. To be honest, without being biased, I am going to have to say Lucas. You have to understand, Lucas changed, like Spielberg came out with Jaws, first blockbuster, definitely. George came out later and did it even bigger with Star Wars. That wasn't just a blockbuster. That is as we call it, a culture phenomenon. Everything copied Star Wars. Jaws also big hits. I would argue that Steven Spielberg is a better filmmaker than George Lucas. And George has also said Steven is a better director, by far. You cannot deny that Steven Spielberg is a better director than George Lucas. Writer, I don't know. I can't remember all the movies that he's written. But I think it's pretty clear that Steven is great in the storytelling department. And George is, of course, as we call, an idea man. But he's also an amazing producer and great at, as we've said multiple times on the channel, revolutionizing the film industry. So 1977 comes around. His company ILM revolutionizes the film industry with the Dystraflex camera system. It was computer operated. And it sounds so simple today because we're like, oh, we have these cranes that can keep, steady cams, all this stuff and equipment used to keep the cameras steady and making all these shots very unique. There was even a movie that came out a couple months ago where they did an entire scene, this one continuous shot on a drone, and it like flies into a bar and it moves in and out, and it looks so fake, but it's completely real. All of that stuff comes from George Lucas because, not specifically the drones, but the inspiration for that kind of stuff. He really revolutionized the film industry with Star Wars, not only as a culture sensation and how to make movies going forward, making movies fun. He did that in a time that wasn't really accepted, but also with the use of special effects and technology and all that stuff. And then we have that amplified a lot more in the 90s with the Pixar computer he built. His company, yet again, this was the second time they revolutionized the film industry. He made Pixar. So Cars, toys, Toy Story 4, it's not just toys. The movie Cars, the movie Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4 all came from Pixar, right? Well, all the Pixar movies are in direct causation from George Lucas. George Lucas founded that company and sold it to Steve Jobs, who later sold it to Disney, and they've been, of course, a really big deal. But that 3D animation of films came from the Pixar computer. That computer came from George Lucas's company. That's bigger than anything Steven Spielberg has done. And I love Spielberg movies. And he's probably one of the greatest filmmakers of our time and of all time. But just because he's making all these great movies doesn't mean he's having this impact that is affecting every single movie after it. I mean, you think about that. If you did not have George Lucas, you would have never seen Toy Story 4. Or not Toy Story 4, but 1, 2, 3, and 4. You wouldn't have seen any of those movies if it wasn't for George Lucas. And he wasn't even involved creating those movies. He knew about those movies way ahead of time. Bug's Life, they pitched that to George Lucas and were like, hey, make this movie. And he's like, I don't want to fund a 3D animated film, because he was going through the middle of a nasty divorce. Things were going very well. Like, all this stuff was coming at him. And when they were splitting stuff like that, he had to sell Pixar. So he was always ahead of the curve. Then we get to what happened in the 2000s, which was revolutionization of the digital technology cameras, where George he uses these digital cameras on a big film. And he kind of gloats about it, of course. In the Phantom Menace documentary at the beginning, he has two filmmakers who I think were kind of correct in hindsight, but they were saying things like, when you film with film, when you actually use film cameras, you get a very high resolution. It's pure. It looks very realistic. George is like, well, I think you're just holding yourself back, and you can do so much more with digital technology. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But people like Quentin Tarantino would say things like, I feel like I'm being robbed if I see that this was filmed digitally instead of with an actual camera. So that's the reason something like The Force Awakens, in my opinion, looks more like Star Wars than Attack of the Clones. And that's just because it was using, real sets, practical effects, but also, being filmed on a film camera. But back to the point, back to the question, George changed the film industry 3 times. Imagine, who do you know in any industry that has revolutionized it 3 times? And if they have, and if I'm at a place of here, and there's a lot of people who have done this, please leave me their names in the comment section below, because that is incredibly impressive to do generationally. It's not like he did this at one time in his life. No, he did this decades, continuously. That is extremely impressive. And don't forget, ILM, his same company, went on to make Stagecraft under Jon Favreau. So if George had stayed on and made his sequels, this is what I say about his sequel trilogy. If George had just waited probably 5 to 7 more years to sell Star Wars, he likely never would have. And he also likely would have made all the content that we wanted. He likely would have made his sequel trilogy, Star Wars Underworlds, because of Stagecraft technology. But that technology came from ILM again. So if George was still in charge of Lucasfilm when that came out, guess what? The motherfucker revolutionized the film industry 4 times. How many movies are using Stagecraft these days? All Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man, whatever the fuck, the guy who's directing it, Peyton Reed. He even said they're using that technology. Black Panther 2, is that not using the technology as well? The Loki show using that technology? There's a lot of future projects and shows and movies and all these big things in the industry that are using the technology that came from ILM. That is so, it's crazy. Like, thinking one company does this under one man for this long, astounding. So yeah, with all that to be said, and as much as I love Steven Spielberg, as much as his stories have changed the film industry, and he really shows people how to be a good director and how to have fun as a director and bring those kind of coming of age stories, Lucas has done more in the industry. Goldman did industrialized YouTube and Star Wars fandom. Thor 4 is using it. Yeah, that as well. George is the Jesus of movies. Who do you think should do the Mandalorian game? Who do I think should do the Mandalorian game? Bethesda wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, what kind of game are we going for? Are we going for like a shooter, of course? But are we going for third person, first person? Open world, possibly? Rockstar is always where I kind of lean on some of these things. I feel like Rockstar would do really great, just because of what they've done with Red Dead Redemption and GTA. Maybe the mechanics would be something someone else could deal with, though. Yes, I just got here in Star Wars Only is talking about George Lucas. Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much the summary of it. That's pretty much what Star Wars Only does now. All I do is talk about George Lucas. Well, which Lucasfilm do you prefer, Revenge of the Sith or A New Hope? I think A New Hope is slightly worse than Revenge of the Sith, but Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi are better. I definitely think out of the two, I would probably prefer to watch Revenge of the Sith than A New Hope because it does have a little bit more depth to storytelling. Sorry you had to hear that. I don't know if it was a motorcycle or a car coming behind me, but anyways, Revenge of the Sith has a little bit more story to it. New Hope, very simple, very great for its time, but I've seen it too many times. I've seen it that's probably the second Star Wars movie I've seen the most of. Number one is Revenge of the Sith as well. Right, you are. I feel like George has done a lot behind the scenes in terms of creating ILM, THX, digital projection, etc. Oh yeah, I forgot about THX. That's his sound company that he also made. You hear that all the time when you go to the theaters or something. Back for a lot of those Pixar films as well. I contend Lucas technology. Big shout out to Charlie Spur. Spielberg probably has the bigger name. Yeah, you're right, Charlie. He does have the bigger name. He is probably the more respected filmmaker. It's just that George, technology-wise, has done a lot more. Yeah. I'm pretty much just catching up with you there. All right, back to the questions. Miss Only a Star Wars Mick. No, I think their voices are completely different, and that would almost make me jealous, Miss Only. I'm like, how did you keep Star Wars Meg from me, and then you make it into this big account that I didn't know about? PML Star Wars. What are your thoughts on Pink Floyd's The Wall being one of the first movies to blend animation and live action? I'm gonna be real honest with you. I had no idea that. I didn't because I know it was a movie. I thought it was just a video, like a music video. The more you know. This was interesting. What do you think of Kevin Feige not wanting to be Lucasfilm president? Yeah, that report came out. I think it was from Variety or not Washington Post. What was the other one? I thought there was another one that started with the V. But anyways, basically saying that sources close to Kevin Feige said that he has no ambitions to run Lucasfilm. And a lot of people were like, he doesn't wait. Some people say he gets paid to say that and all that crap. Like I said, he seems pretty comfortable at Marvel. And I told you guys how I had a source say that Disney wants him to go over to Lucasfilm. And I believe that is true. I believe that they probably do want him over there just because how successful he's been with Marvel and how much of a name value Star Wars has. And they're just like, hey, if we can get this going with all of our properties, because they likely think that Marvel can do fine without Kevin Feige for like maybe 5 to 10 years because he's laid a great foundation for a franchise. And they're thinking, all right, well, maybe he can do that for Marvel and then go over to Star Wars, run things and bring it up amazingly or whatever. Don't think that'll happen. Don't think he'll probably become Lucasfilm president for a very, very long time, if ever. But like I said, we did hear that Disney's very interested in him. TXX, oh yeah. Do you think they will make a KOTOR trilogy at some point? No, not like the one we're used to. It'd be an Old Republic, but maybe not even a trilogy. Maybe they just do a one-off, a spin-off. See how people reply to it. How do you feel about the new Indiana Jones movie coming out next year? I haven't seen 2, 3, or 4, so I don't really have much of a thought on it. I'm surprised Steven Spielberg is not directing it. I'm surprised like everyone who was originally involved has left. I mean, that movie is also, you talk about bad production on the Star Wars sequels. That movie has been a disaster as well so far. Multiple rewrites, multiple director changes and writer changes. I think Lawrence Kasdan was going to be a part of it, and now he isn't. And there's another writer, I think, as well. So it's a rough thing to see. LOL, people think Revenge of the Sith is better than Empire Strikes Back. Don't get me wrong, The Clone Wars is a great show, and so far, The Bad Batch has been good. But Revenge of the Sith, while a good film, isn't better than Empire Strikes Back. Still, Clone Wars and Mandalorian are great. Every word you said was absolutely right. I have no idea. Who would want to pick up the slack of the sequel trilogy? No one. Well, I don't think someone like Kevin Feige would even have to worry about that anymore. I think he could look at Star Wars and he could be like, I can make something from this. Because, I mean, think about it. Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, these people are looking at The Mandalorian and going, we can make multiple spin-off shows with this. And we can make kind of our own little, not own little universe, but we can use this timeline this 30 years between episodes 6 and 7 and really make something out of it and kind of milk it for what it's worth. Let's do that with a bunch of shows. I think Kevin Feige would do that, but with movies. I think he'd be like, we're going to do like 3 spin-off movies. They're all going to loosely tie into each other. They're going to come out 2 to 3 years apart. They're not really going to, it's not going to be like episodes 1, 2, or 3, like in a chronological order. It's going to be, I don't know, like a movie about some person in the High Republic, and then a movie about a Sith in the High Republic, and then a movie about a mercenary or bounty hunter in the High Republic. And all 3 of these movies have certain characters that you cross over or whatnot, and you just kind of realize, oh, it's all connected. And then you get a trilogy set in the High Republic where one of those people, if not all of them, are the main characters. That's something he would do. I know you hate, quotation marks, both EUs, but you must admit it makes sense that EU fans dislike Dave Filoni for his decisions, since he had retconned a lot of stuff that had already been set in place, canon Order 66. Yeah, so I don't hate the expanded universe. I really have a lot of respect for it, and I was very obsessed with it in high school. But at the same time, I respect George Lucas's stuff of my canon is the only canon. And when it comes to Dave Filoni, I feel like it was almost impossible to adhere to the expanded universe. Oh, my bad. I feel like it was impossible to continue to expand, to commit to the expanded universe, because if George was going to make the sequels, he was going to have to redo it anyway. So if you're talking about staying connected to the expanded universe with the Clone Wars, then yeah. I know friend Levi of the channel, shout out to him, from All New Nerds, he was talking about how the Clone Wars from 2003, that version of the Clone Wars, the anime-looking one, was very, very close to the expanded universe stuff. Like, it was very, it basically existed within the expanded universe. So the new Clone Wars, of course, didn't do that, but that's limiting the storytelling for a lot of these creatives. I mean, if you have Star Wars and you're like, this is why I forgave Disney for not committing to the expanded universe after they bought Lucasfilm, is because when I'm making episodes 7, 8, and 9, it's like, do I want to commit to the expanded universe? Oh, cool. Well, then I either have to retell a story or I have to do it between a time and kind of create a new story within this already existing universe and then explain to the audience the Yuuzhan Vong War, the Thrawn trilogy, all that stuff. It's like, that's really hard to do. So I understand why they didn't do that. The Kanan Order 66 thing, that is where I'm like, okay, you guys said you were going to commit to canon, and now you're not. Like, you're clearly just not regarding canon. And it's one thing if it happens once, but now Dave Filoni has done this like 2 or 3 times, and it is getting to a point. It's like, so should I even read the comic books anymore? Like, if they're great stories, that's cool, but if they're not going to flow into this overall narrative, some people are going to have a problem with that. Whether it's right or wrong is up to your personal decision, but still, I can understand why people would go, okay, well, then I'm just not going to buy the comic books or the books anymore, because clearly the shows and the movies have top priority, as they should. But if you want coherent storytelling, then don't fucking come crying at me when I'm not buying your books, you know? It would be smart for Lucasfilm to avoid the Old Republic era for a certain time. I think what they're going to do with the High Republic is have something like the Acolyte explore some lore into the Old Republic, and that's where we'll see something like Revan. And then we get in that Knights of the Old Republic remake coming from Aspire, and that will really be our big segue into a modern version of the Old Republic. I was reading his name, The Mandalorian, and so instead of going, I think for Acolyte Season 1, I read, I think for The Mandalorian. Anyways, I think for the Acolyte Season 1, we will have a new protagonist, but in the final episode of Season 1, they're in trouble, but then Plagueis comes in for the first time with a Luke-type hallway scene and saves them, LOL. I don't think Plagueis would come in for that, because the audience would have to know who Plagueis is. I could see the Acolyte being a female apprentice who, of course, is an Acolyte underneath the Sith Lord, is learning the ways of the Sith, all this stuff, and is maybe because when we learned about Darth Tenebris, the master of Darth Plagueis in the expanded universe, that's not canon anymore. Darth Plagueis, well, I guess Darth Tenebris is canon, but I don't know if it's canon that he is Darth Plagueis' master or not. But Darth Plagueis is canon as Palpatine's master in current canon. So what we could do is we could follow the route that the novel went, where Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebris, they were master and apprentice, but there was another apprentice that Darth Tenebris had that Plagueis didn't know about. So the Acolyte could be in a situation like that where, let's say, the Master is Darth Tenebris and the Acolyte is the apprentice to him, and then we find out Tenebris had Plagueis the entire time, and that's kind of the revelation of his character. Or we could even have the Acolyte be this female character who dies at the end of the entire series, and that's where Plagueis comes in. He becomes the Acolyte. The Acolyte could just be multiple people. It could be like the James Bond of Star Wars of, just because you're an Acolyte doesn't mean you're always going to be my princess. It could be one Acolyte after the other. They could kill each other for that role, and it would end up with Plagueis. A lot of routes that could go, but I'm so interested in that story because it's going to be focusing on the Sith. That is the one I pray to God every night they get that right, because if they don't, I'm gonna be extremely disappointed, and I'll probably blame it on Leslie Headland. What are your thoughts on the new Disney reorganization and how it will affect the future of Star Wars, more specifically Squadrons, Taika, and Feige's movies? Scary stuff. So Rogue Squadron I'm nervous about because I'm not excited about just the premise of like another spin-off movie that seems to not really be about the Jedi or Sith, which I'm semi-okay with. But if it's about like the rebellion, I'm going to be a little annoyed, but maybe it'll be a fresh breath air. I'm not sure. Taika Waititi, I'm more interested in, and same with Kevin Feige. I would bet money, and I have said before, I really think Kevin Feige is making a High Republic Star Wars movie. I just really think that. No one's told me that. I don't have a source who knows anything about that. To be fair, I don't think anyone has sources who know about the Kevin Feige thing right now. But I think Kevin Feige is going to try to set something up. Could the Acolyte be Sheev Palpatine? No. And I'm going to stop the question there. And the reason that is because it's 50 years before the Phantom Menace. I don't think Sheev was 50 years old during the Phantom Menace. So, I mean, he would have to like literally just be born at the end of the Acolyte. All right. If you guys have any more questions, I'm probably going to wrap the stream up here in a few minutes. Been about an hour, and your boy will have to be leaving in the next hour here as well. Oh, I would love a Darth Bane trilogy. We saw Bane in the Clone Wars Season 6, even though that was a deleted scene. So it'd be cool if a Bane trilogy happened. It would have to be a different from the Bane Legends novels, though, thanks to new canon. Yeah, I'm interested in that. I just saw the arc with Yoda, and he talked to Bane a little bit. But I'd be down for that. Bane was my favorite Sith before I think he probably still is my favorite Sith. When I read his books as a kid, I really loved it. I thought he was so cool. Thank you, Fofo, for the super chat. He says, "Happy birthday, Mr. Only. Hope you're having a good day so far. Who do you think has a better grasp on what Star Wars is, J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson?" Ooh, that's an interesting one. Oh, man, how do I even... All right, we got to go back to some sequel. This will be the last question I even do as well, because this is a good one. Let's go. So where things get interesting on this is that Rian Johnson wanted to challenge like the Star Wars storytelling. He really wanted to do something different with The Last Jedi. J.J. Abrams intentionally did not with The Force Awakens. And what sucks is it's almost like both times that J.J. had a chance to do a Star Wars film, we didn't really get him at his full potential. We really didn't get him with like the full freedom and basically the time he needed. Because with the Force Awakens, he had Bob Iger involved. The studio was very involved. They were very much on, we got to make this feel like the old Star Wars. So it was a very Disney-fied film. When it came to The Rise of Skywalker, though, JJ had a lot more creative freedom. However, he also had 2 years to make the film, including script writing. And they were constantly rewriting it. So he really didn't get what he wanted. And also, I haven't, there's not much I can say because there's not much I truly know. But from people who I know, who know the stuff behind the scenes, there's a lot to what happened behind the scenes that we still do not know about. And I know there's been like fake stuff like, oh, there was a cut, a J.J. Abrams cut, a George Lucas cut. Like there's a lot of like fake news that goes out there about what happened. But what really happened is also pretty shocking. And there's a reason we haven't heard anything about it. Star Wars Santa says, is the High Republic a success? It depends on how you define success. They seem to be meeting/beating projections, so I think Lucasfilm counts as successful. I don't know anything about the sales numbers. I think the first book is really good. I'm almost done with the second one. I finally started rereading it again, Into the Dark, It's gotten a lot better at the end, and I'll put up my review as soon as I can. But I think the first book was really good. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot, honestly, by not continuing to release stuff. Like, they should have had a book for the High Republic released on May 4th. They should have done something a little bit more to bring more attention to the High Republic, because I feel like comic books really fly under the radar unless they make they do the Darth Vader thing where they have like a Luke's hand, or the one where it seems like Darth Vader is confirmed to be made by Palpatine and all that stuff. That's when the comic books get a lot of attention. But other than that, it doesn't seem like a lot of us care about it. Star Wars Santa says the High Republic comics are in their 5th reprint run, and the novels are all high on the fiction book sales list for 2021. Okay, well, then that is a good sign. I do know the first book, Light of the Jedi, did extremely well. Like, I think it was #1 on Amazon for bestsellers for a while, and then like even when it wasn't #1, it just went down to #4. So they did really good with the High Republic. So I agree. I think that they would consider it a success. Back to this one. Back to this one of who has a better grasp on Star Wars, J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson. I want to say J.J. Abrams. Looking at The Force Awakens, like J.J. really was able to capture the feeling of Star Wars and the adventure aspect of it. Like having Rey and Han and Finn and Chewie like kind of go on an adventure together. Like that all was so really cool. And even at the end of The Force Awakens, where you see Luke and you're really curious on what that's about, what's he going to do, it really did build up that anticipation for the next movie. Like, I'm not going to act like The Force Awakens wasn't a copy of A New Hope, because it was, and I criticized it for doing that at the time. But I also said I don't really mind. It's like, hey, I don't like you because you did something I already liked. It's like, no, I love A New Hope. So you did A New Hope again, but you did it modern. Is that lazy? Oh yeah, that's very lazy. But I'm not complaining because I like A New Hope, and you're just doing it a little different. And JJ was able to capture that practical effect, that feeling that you're actually there in Star Wars. And basically for the first hour of The Force Awakens, I felt like I was having a good time. After that, like once they get to Maz Kanata's castle, or even after that specifically, like once they get to the Resistance base, it really kind of drops off for me. I'm like, okay, this does get a little bit too familiar, and it also drags in the sense of like it didn't feel that much fun anymore, and the characters didn't grow in that part for me. But still, there was a lot of great Star Wars moments in that, and it didn't have a lot of lows, in my opinion. I feel like The Last Jedi had a lot of lows, and I'm not going to be like one of those people who are like, oh, Brian Johnson doesn't understand Star Wars. I feel like he just didn't understand what people were liking about people. Well, maybe he did. Maybe he intentionally flipped things on its head for Luke. I just disagree with a lot of what he decided to do. With Rian Johnson's trilogy, if it ever happens, with that first episode, because he's going to write and direct the very first episode of the trilogy, I think that will be a great sign of if he, in my opinion or your opinion, understands Star Wars and has a great grasp on it. If he can give us that adventurous and fun feeling to it, then I would say yes. But right now, I can't say he's got a better grasp on it than JJ, because I had a lot more fun watching JJ's Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, not Rise of Skywalker. I had more fun watching that than I did The Last Jedi. But also, to be fair, with Rian Johnson, it's almost like he was forced into making the dramatic movie. The Empire Strikes Back was the dramatic movie of the original trilogy. The Last Jedi was set up to be the dramatic movie of that trilogy as well. So he kind of got stuck between a rock and a hard place, quite literally, and it gave us what we have now. All right, well, that's all the time I got for today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the kind birthday wishes. Tomorrow, I will try to be back and do a watch party of the Phantom Menace 20 years later, even though it's 22 years later at this point tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that tomorrow. We'll probably set up a watch time maybe later at night so there can be more people. But till then, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys had a great stream, and I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you